Are you interested in working after retirement as an entrepreneur in some other way to make a little bit of extra income as you go into retirement? Well, one of the things that a lot of people say is that they're facing age discrimination, that they just cannot get a job after 50 or 60. Well, I have got a suggestion for you. I've got one idea that I think is going to radically change the way that we work, and it is already doing that, but a way that you can get a job regardless of your age, a place where no one is going to ask how old you are. My name is Margaret Manning, this is 60andMe, and I want to thank you for being here today. I think it's going to be a really good conversation, and I welcome you here. Thanks so much. Now, our show today is brought to you by International Living. Now, International Living is a company that helps people think about retiring overseas. So if you've got a passion for finding a new location in retirement, then check out International Living. Their website is internationalliving.com/60andme. And if you go up there, you can actually ask them to send you their latest report. They've got reports on all different kinds of places around the world that you might want to retire. So let's talk about how to make money in retirement, how to actually do some things that are going to help you, be able to get back into a productive work environment, or just make that little extra cash that you need to do the things that you want in retirement. Now, Hilary Henderson, one of our bloggers, wrote this article about the pros and cons of working in the gig economy. Now, some of you are familiar with the word gig. Of course, gig when we were younger meant going to listen to music somewhere. Like, so and so is playing a gig at this place, and we would go there. It was kind of associated with jazz and music. But a gig is still something that you do. It's some thing that you've taken on that you have a skill at. It's your gig, and that expression now has moved into this new sharing economy. Now, the sharing economy is all about using online resources to match you with your skills to someone who wants to pay for it. And using online tools enables this in a way that was never possible before. Now, we know, and I've mentioned it earlier, that getting a job after 50, after 60 is very difficult. I mean, ageism is one of the last isms that I think is actually still relatively accepted, that you can get away with that. But it's changing. It will take time. But our generation, our women who are in their 60s now, are really dealing with this in a very concrete way. So Hilary presents some ideas that you might want to consider. Now, of course, the gig economy has been around for a while. Do you remember when we were younger, there were the temp agencies? And then, of course, along came Upwork and Airbnb and now an Uber, those types of places where you were able to work remotely. And digital nomads, young people now, are taking this on as a lifestyle. They're traveling the world, living in co-living spaces, working for people remotely. And they just enjoy that kind of freedom to work and travel wherever they want to go. But it also just generally relates to the concept of freelance work. So if you've got a skill and you want to, get paid for it, there are some really good online tools now where you can go post your profile and your information about what you can do, and then people will look for you and find you. So, for example, Hilary talks about some ones like Fiverr, which is one that she actually used. She said when she was working on her book title, and her book title was, she went out there and said it should look like this. I want these elements in the color and the shape. And she bid the job out to various artists, and then someone came back with the idea that she loved. So that's an example of Fiverr, what people will do for $5. Now, $5 doesn't sound like a lot, and it's not per hour if it takes you an hour to do the job. If it's something that you do really quickly, something that you're skilled at, you could do that 10 times in a day and make $50. So that's, something that becomes worthwhile. I know, for example, when we were putting together our cards, our deck of cards for 60andMe, these are our inspirational cards. We went out to people to ask who would be interested in doing the artwork for our cards, and we found the most amazing woman. I should remember her name. It's Ola. Ola did these for us, and the details are on the card, but she's really, really a great artist. And we found her by going out in the world using tools online to find her. Now, this, of course, I talked at the very, very beginning about age, and I want to make sure that we do cover that, because this is a big part of why the gig economy is working for older people. Now, you may have something that you've studied for, that you have a degree in, that you're qualified in, and that has value to someone. You may not think it does, but say you were an operational manager, or did project management, or you did creative work. You came up with brands, or you did designs, or you were an artist or illustrator. These are things that people might be prepared to pay for. And guess what? Age is not a factor. No one asks you how old you are. If you can do the job and you can do it well, then they hire you. And I mean, if they ask you what your age is, I mean, you could just say, I don't think it's a relevant question, and you don't have to answer. But age, for the most part, 99.9% of the time, nobody will ask you your age. So it's the one place that you can go online and actually put yourself out there with your profile, the things you can do well, your price range. You can get experience. You can get people who you've worked with to give you some recommendations. You can link people to your LinkedIn account. There's lots of ways that you can get people to understand what you can do. And then you can work anonymously, or you can work from anywhere in the world. So as we're saying, international living is talking about retiring overseas. You could retire overseas and do this job. The money can just go right into your bank. Of course, there's issues around visas and work permits, and I'm not minimizing that there's some complexity here, but for the most part, you don't have to think about that. You can work from have clients all around the globe. Now, those are the pros, and of course, there's flexibility in that you can take a month off and go travel. You don't have to work full time. You could do it just a few hours every week. But even having 500 extra pounds dollars coming in every month is helpful. You have to have quite a bit in savings to be able to draw $500 a month out of your pension or out of your savings account. So we're talking about small amounts perhaps, but I know people that make 50,000 plus a year on Upwork and other online services like that. There's freelance.com, Upwork is well known, and there are others. Just go and check them online. The cons, of course, that there is no minimum wage protection. There's no benefits. You don't get free lunch or free coffee. You don't get any of those kinds of deposits that your company might make to your Social Security or to insurance or your IRAs. You're not getting that same benefit that you had in a corporate environment. And of course, you've got this possibility that you're vulnerable to exploitation. And I think Uber is getting itself sorted out, but that is a good example of somewhere where people went into it with all the information that they needed. So I think that's important. The other thing is to know is that gigs are changing. This whole gig economy is changing around the world. Some of the things that we've mentioned already about the benefits of co-working and working for a gig economy model. A lot of big companies now are saying, we don't mind where you live. In fact, I was just listening to a podcast by Kristen Wilson, who's amazing, by the way. She's a young digital nomad writer. She writes about this type of thing. A company in San Francisco that's hiring, this is a corporate organization, and saying, we don't mind where you live. In fact, don't live in San Francisco. We want you to get out of San Francisco because it's too expensive. There's not enough housing here. Go live somewhere else, and we're happy to hire you. And these are the types of jobs now that are coming on the radar because people want to work like this. And I think what's the number? By 2027, 60% of workers in the United States will be independent professionals. So it's an opportunity for you to start a new business, to put your consultancy talent to work flexible hours, and nobody asks you your age. I mean, honestly, it's a really interesting option. So check out the article by Hillary. She's got some very good links in the article. And also you can check out her website too, which this is her thing. This is her expertise. And, just to ask the questions. I mean, what do you know about the gig economy? Is working freelance remotely from your own home or from another location something that appeals to you? And do you have any experience with these freelance platforms? Please share if you do. It would be very useful to know. So I hope that's been an exciting conversation. I actually really have fun with these chats, and I learn always myself. But thank you again for your time, for being here, and check out our website. Please subscribe to our channel here on YouTube, and look forward to sharing with you more in the future. Take care. Bye-bye for now.